Welcome to the Amazing Authorities Podcast, where game changers, visionaries, and category leaders share how they built their brands, platforms, and global influence. Your host is Mitch Carson, international speaker, media strategist, and creator of the Instant Authority System. If you're ready to learn from those who've done it and want to become the go-to expert in your space, you're in the right place.
Ladies and gentlemen, I have got a not overused term, special guest today, Hank Marcacci. Took a while to pronounce his name correctly, but we've got it down now. We've been chatting for a while, and we have a very special presentation to show you. Because there's one thing about writing a book and coming up with that, the difficult aspect, but when it comes to sales and marketing, it's best to have a rudder in your boat so you know where to go. It's best to have a flight plan. And I look at Kindlepreneur Corporation with the Publisher Rocket tool as your flight plan. So you know where you're taking off and where you're going safely, soundly, profitably. Today, Hank Marcacci is going to show us his flight plan. Hank.
Well, thank you so much, Mitch.
All right, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you again, Mitch. We're so excited to be here. And as you mentioned, there's this whole flight plan, this whole idea that being an author and selling goes way beyond just writing your book. You have to be discovered. You have to be marketed. You really have to get yourself out there. And it's difficult for a lot of authors to do because they spent all this time writing their book and then they realize there's more beyond that. So today we're going to cover how to get your book discovered on Amazon. So you have your book written or you're thinking about writing a book. And we're covering those steps that it takes, going that extra mile to making sure that you can find readers and people that are going to absolutely love your work. Now, Mitch, one question that we get is why Amazon? So many people ask us, why are we focusing on Amazon when there's Barnes & Noble out there, there's Google, there's Kobo, there's all these other places that you can sell your book. And the reason why is that every month, over 197 million people around the world shop on Amazon. And this is a huge number. I mean, it's the biggest marketplace out there for books. And if you're an author, you really can't ignore it. Even if you don't sell on Amazon, you at least need to be aware of the trends that are going on there and basically what else is happening on that Amazon store. And what's interesting about selling on Amazon is that they're in it for the long game. And what I mean there is that when Amazon is trying to sell things, they're not, or what Jeff Bezos says, is they don't make money when they sell things. They make money when they help customers make purchase decisions. And what I mean by that is if you're selling products on Amazon, Amazon doesn't have to actually promote you. They can promote all the other authors out there. They can go and say, hey, this author might match way better with this reader, or this other author might match with another reader really strongly as well. So we have to help Amazon understand who are our readers, the people that are going to love our books in particular, because then Amazon will go and match us together with them. And the reason Amazon does that is because if they give a reader a book they will absolutely love, that reader will come back time and time and time again to Amazon to buy all those books in the future. So we want, as authors, to make sure that we're matching our books with the right readers for Amazon, and we're making Amazon's job as easy as possible when they're trying to figure out who should actually be reading our books. So really what the question today, what this boils down to, in order to be discovered, you really have to understand this, is how does Amazon help book shoppers find the right book? Because if we can optimize that, Amazon will show our book to more and more shoppers out there because they know they will be satisfied and come back time and time again to Amazon. Now, I'm your host today, in 1 second, and I'm Hank Marcacci, and we developed this presentation and this webinar in order to help authors out when they're actually trying to promote their books online. And something that we always saw is that if you're an author out there on Amazon, it's really difficult to get your name out there. It's really difficult to get people to see you. So we went and we developed Kindlepreneur, which helps you out from a marketing perspective, as well as Publisher Rocket, which is a tool that helps you actually optimize your marketing when you're selling your book. Now, a little bit about me as your host is that I wasn't always an author. I became an author later on in life, but I always heard it was impossible to become an author and make a living, that you couldn't become a bestseller, that this was something actually that was extremely difficult to do and you couldn't feed a family doing it. So I started off becoming an engineer, in particular a data engineer, but I always had this dream that I wanted to become an author. And I chased that after college. I put a lot of time, a lot of effort into it. And I studied the data and the trends and actually what worked on the Amazon store. And what that resulted in was becoming a best-selling author on Kindle and reaching the top 50 in the entire Kindle store. That's one of the proudest moments of my life, and it's something that you all can do as well if you focus on the different data and the trends that are occurring on the Amazon store and you write towards your market. That led me on to become the manager of Publisher Rocket and a member of the Kindlepreneur team. And when we went and actually created this webinar, this is something that we built in order to help other authors be able to become bestsellers as well. And when we created this webinar, this wasn't just something that we made because it sounded good. We had ideas that might work or might not. We went and we built this webinar by consulting multiple large publishing companies and best-selling authors about the best tactics in fiction and nonfiction. So everything you hear about today is all case studies. These are things that are tried and true. They're not just things that sound like good ideas, but they've been tested. And don't just take our word for it, but take Amazon's word as well, because Amazon has actually stated, learn from Kindlepreneur on how to optimize your book for more sales. And we'll be talking today about those tactics and what we use so you can become a bestseller as well. Now, what we're going to jump into are the key steps you can take to increase the number of shoppers that discover your book. Because remember, in order to make more sales, we have to get more eyes on our book, and we have to convince Amazon to show our book to more people who'll be interested in actually clicking that buy button. And what we need to understand is how Amazon actually helps people find books. And the top way that Amazon helps people find books is through the Amazon search bar. And the Amazon search bar is where they go type in what they're looking for on Amazon, they'll put in a keyword there, and Amazon will show them results or what they're actually looking for on the store. So here's an example here, this GIF on the left, where we can see someone is using that search bar, they're typing in sci-fi military, that's their keyword, and Amazon is going through and they're showing all these books that they think that reader might be interested in. And what's interesting here is Amazon puts you in this list if you use one of your 7 Kindle keywords as a part of that list. So what I mean by that is if you have sci-fi military as one of your 7 Kindle keywords, that means you'll show up somewhere within these results. Amazon will include you within these results. You might be at the top, or you might be way down at the bottom, but you will be in that list. And what we're going to talk about today is how you can make sure that you appear towards the top of that list, so you're getting eyes on your book, and not at the bottom of that list where no one might ever see you. Now, when we talk about your 7 Kindle keywords, if you publish on KDP, that's what you actually put in these 7 boxes that Amazon has given you when you click that publish button online. And the important thing about these is you may see the word optional. Please make sure you fill in every one of these, and not just that, you use them as your ability to put your best foot forward with Amazon. Because each one of these is a chance for you to tell Amazon what your book is about and what people are searching for when they type into that search bar on Amazon. So you absolutely want to use every one of these, and you want to make sure you optimize these in a way so you're matching strongly with your ideal reader. Now, the reason that we focus on this again is your keywords equal discoverability. The better your keywords are, the easier it is for your ideal reader to find your book. And you want to make sure that it's very simple for Amazon to match up you with that ideal reader, so Amazon understands that they're finding a book that the reader's going to love, and that reader comes back to read more and more books by you. Now, earlier we showed you the search bar, but what's really important about the search bar is that 66% of book shoppers start their experience by using that Amazon search bar. However, even though 2/3 of them go on starting it, over 89% of them end up purchasing based on that. So what we mean by that is 66% of people type something in that bar, and almost every one of them goes on and actually buys after they've typed something in. That's incredibly important because we know that these are motivated shoppers that are coming out and they have their wallets ready and actually are going to go click the buy button. This is different than posting your book on Facebook or other places because those people aren't actually ready to buy. But when you're in the search results, they are absolutely ready to buy and they're looking for their branded book. A great example here that we use is this is like walking into the grocery store when you're hungry and you're looking for a snack. You know you're going to walk in that store and you're not leaving until you find something that satisfies you. And that's what the reader is like. They're coming to Amazon and they're not leaving until they find that book that satisfies them. What book they leave with is completely up to Amazon, but we know that they're not going to leave until they find it. So we want to make sure our book is put on that top shelf in front of them so they at least consider it before they click buy on something else. Now, in order to understand keywords, we really have to get into the data science behind keyword searches. Now, I know the keyword or the word data science sounds a little bit scary. We've boiled this down into tactics that you all can use to improve your books on the Amazon store and make sure they're appearing in the right spots for your readers. The first important thing here is where you appear within Amazon search heavily influences how many people click on your book. And what I mean by that is that if you have your book appearing in the first position on search, so if you type in a keyword and you show up in the top position on search, you get the vast majority of traffic that's appearing for that keyword. So if you type in number one, and if you actually rank at number one, you get 27%. If you rank at number two, you get 12%. At number three, you get 9%. And you continue dropping and dropping and dropping for the amount of traffic as you slide down those rankings. So it's really important when you come up with keywords that you show up as position number one when someone's typing something in, because otherwise you're not going to get a lot of attention on that. And here's an example of how that actually works. So when we go look at the keywords that are actually showing on Amazon, if you type in something like Space Marines and you get these actual results that are coming up, if you show up in position number one, you get 27% of the attention for people typing in Space Marines. If you show up position number two, you get 12% of the attention. Position number three, you get 9% of attention, and it continues to drop and drop and drop as you go farther down the page. What's important is the book number one here gets 2 times more clicks than the book number two. So it's really important, if you can control where you show up in these search results, that you show up towards the top, because that's where the vast amount of attention is. If you're showing up, for example, on page 3, page 4 of Amazon for Space Marines, no one's likely to find you, because almost no one goes and clicks that next button at the bottom. So it's really important, again, that you show up towards the top, because that's where everyone is looking and where it's getting the vast majority of attention. And here's an example of why that matters so much. So say, for example, 1,000 people per month search for Space Marines. Well, if you show up at position number 5 down here, that means you get 70 clicks per month because you get 7% of the attention. And that's some, and that's helping you out a little bit, but it's not really doing what you could expect if you were in position number 1. And if you're in position number 1, you'd instead get 27% of the clicks, or 270 clicks per month. So that's 200 extra clicks per month just by going from number 5 on Amazon up to number 1 when people are searching for this keyword. Now, you might say, hey, Hank, 200 clicks isn't a lot. I can go and I can email out to my mailing list and get 200 clicks. Or I can go and tell all my family and friends and I can get 200 clicks. And you're right, but the main difference is that these are free clicks. These are clicks that are coming to you month after month after month while you sleep, just from people casually browsing the Amazon store. You don't have to work for these. And that's why it's so important that you want to show up towards the top here, because these are clicks that are organically coming from you that you don't have to pay for, and you're just naturally being discovered on Amazon. The second thing that's important is you don't just get one keyword when you actually put your book on Amazon. If you remember, you get those 7 different boxes, and all of these boxes add up to help with your book. So, for example, your first keyword might get you 270 clicks per month. Your second keyword could get you 122. Your third keyword gives you 87. Your fourth keyword gives you 112. Your fifth keyword gives you 66. Your sixth keyword could get you 211. And your seventh keyword could get you 167. Now, all of those combine together, because each one of these are different keywords, all of them combine together to point back to your book. And what that means is that these are each individual funnels across Amazon focusing more and more attention on your book. And if you can optimize it, together they drive up together and move your book through the rankings and help make you a bestseller. And when you look at this, you'll notice that keyword 1 might get you 270 clicks, but keyword number 5 might get you only 66. And if you could improve keyword number 5 to get you 266, that could be 200 more clicks there. Maybe then we focus on keyword number 3 and get 200 more clicks there. And it continues to add and add and add and tell Amazon that your book is popular and it's something that they want to show off to more people because people are enjoying it. Now, in order to understand how to optimize keywords and how to find good ones, we have to ask the question of what exactly keywords are. And keywords, if you write nonfiction, are how a shopper describes the pain point and the result they want to get by reading a book. So again, they describe what the issue is in their life and where they want to get to by reading your book. And we're going to go through some examples about how you can brainstorm keywords that work really well for your book in order to help shoppers find them on Amazon. So these are 4 different methods that we use to come up with ideas for keywords for your book. The first one, like we mentioned, is the pain point. And remember, when we're describing each one of these are things that people are typing into Amazon, actively looking for and putting into the search bar in order to find your book that you've written. So when we look at the pain point, this is describing the issue that people have that is driving them to go to that search bar and type something in. An example on the left is, OMG, my kid is overweight. and they're typing in keywords relating to like being overweight or have issues trying to lose weight, but they're really focusing in on that pain point and the problem that they have here. The next book is How to Read Body Language. And we can tell right away that this exemplifies a pain point because it's in red font. We can see bright yellow cautionary colors in the background as well. And we can tell that they're having a problem. They're trying to determine how to read body language. And when they're typing things into the search bar, they're probably putting in negative experiences with trying to learn body language or the inability to actually get that skill. Next, or over here on the far right, we have How to Not Die Alone. And if we talk about a pain point, that's an enormous pain point that people could type into Amazon that they're trying to avoid, and they're motivated to go over to that search bar because they don't want that to happen to them. So the first point again is the pain point. When you're thinking about keywords, use that to brainstorm the issue that is driving someone over to find you on Amazon. Second is the results and solution. And this is the opposite side of the coin as the pain point. So when you're focusing in on results and solution, you're trying to see what is the light at the end of the rainbow. If you're looking at the carrot and the stick, this is the carrot. This is where you want to get to, or the benefit that someone gets out of reading your book. So the examples here are instant loss, for example, and that's completely different than OMG, my kid is overweight. Even though they're about the same topic, one is talking about how great it is to lose weight. The other one is saying, I have a problem that I'm trying to resolve. In the middle here, we have profit first, and I'll teach you to be rich. Notice both of these are talking about riches. They're talking about treasures. They're trying to get to that wealthy position. Neither one of them is saying, I'll teach you how to not be poor. Both of them are showing you the goal and what you have in mind and what you're looking to become. And then on the far right, we have How to Win Friends and Influence People, which is the exact opposite of How to Not Die Alone. So instead of, again, focusing on the negative side of that, they're focusing on the positive side of having friends and having that benefit within your life. And people, when they go and search, will look for those goals and look for those success metrics when they're typing things in Amazon. So again, when we look at pain points and results and solution, these are two sides of the same coin. People are going over to Amazon to solve an issue in their life or to upgrade their life to find a new solution or something that is better than their current day. The third type of keyword that you can use to brainstorm are emotional amplifiers. And when we look into emotional amplifiers, this is something that really makes your book stand out on the shelf when it's compared to all the others. So a great example here is speed reading, how to read a book in 1 hour. And when you look at that, that's shocking. People see read a book in 1 hour, that's not possible, that's crazy, there's no way you can absolutely do that. And when they see that 1 hour, it makes it pop out compared to whatever other competitor books might be on the shelf, and they're more likely to pick that one up. In addition, we don't just have how to write, but how to write fast. And that's a zinger that makes someone really want to pick that book up as well.
Fast.
Yeah, and it drives. I mean, you look at the absolute at the bottom, the rocket ship going on there. You see the font for fast. It drives interest. It's so much more interesting than something like how to just write. Like it piques your attention and you want to take a second look at it. And then one that I'm sure you'd love over here, Mitch, is whenever you have a book that has a really odd number on the front of it. Let's say 13, 7, 19, something you don't normally see. Well, the human mind goes, that is a really strange number. Like, why is that number up there? I need to know why it's 13 and not 10, or something even that we're used to seeing. And where we notice this is if you drive through neighborhoods now, you'll see that they'll say the speed limit is 7 miles per hour. And the reason they do that is when you see 7 miles per hour, as opposed to, let's say, 5 miles per hour, you're saying, why is it 7? I'm going to pay attention to that. And then you remember actually what the speed limit is, as opposed to glossing over it. The same thing applies to your books. So when you're looking at numbers that go on the cover, and if you have a list, for example, make sure you choose an odd, weird number, because people are going to focus on that as opposed to something like 5 or 10, where they'll forget about it in the next 10 seconds. And then the last type of keyword, and the most important for nonfiction, is demographics. And what I mean by this is finding the niche that is out there that really wants to read your book, determining who you're writing your book for in a specific way, as opposed to something that's one size fits all. And the reason why this works so well is if you write a book for a specific type of person, they can tell that you're solving their individual problems, their individual needs, and they're far more likely to pick up your book than someone else's that's just a generic solution to the problem. So some great examples that we have here that really zero in on demographics. The first one would be Evernote for Lawyers. And when we look at Evernote for Lawyers, this is a book about Evernote software, which is a note-taking software, and it's focused in on lawyers in particular. And if you're a lawyer, you are far more likely to buy Evernote for Lawyers than just something like how to use Evernote. You know it's going to address your specific note-taking task. It's probably going to talk about how you set up your calendar as a lawyer. it's really going to address you in particular, as opposed to something that's just one size fits all. Another example here on the far right is the Busy Mom's Cookbook. And when we look at this cookbook, it's really focused in on that busy mom's persona. That means that it's not going to have recipes that are incredibly complex to make. It's not going to take 5 hours to cook a meal. There's probably ingredients there that kids actually like. So if you're a busy mom, you're so much more likely to buy the Busy Mom's Cookbook than you are to buy just cookbook, what to eat for dinner, or something just generic across those lines. So when you're writing a book and when you're advertising a book and choosing your keywords, it's really important, again, to focus in on demographics to make sure that you stand out from the crowd and stand out to that specific niche that you've created it for.
One thing I want to comment here, Hank, this is about relatability, because I'm over 50 and I'm overweight and I have breathing. I relate to that. Obviously, I don't relate to busy mom, but a mom would relate to that. So you have gone in laser focused to a particular demographic profile, to an avatar. And that is a key point. For lawyers,
Absolutely.
you know, you could put sharks on the cover and it would relate to them, or it's very specific to the target audience. So yeah, I love that point. Very good point.
100% with you there. And Mitch, again, the chances that someone has when they have that relatability of picking that book compared to when they don't have that relatability, it's just so much greater. They're actually going to grab it and investigate it compared to something that just doesn't apply to them. That's something that's one size fits all. All right, so as a recap, these are the ways that you start to brainstorm keywords. You start to come up with keywords that might match your nonfiction book, and these are your starter point where you want to go through and write a whole bunch of these down, and later we'll evaluate how good they are. And the reason why we're going to evaluate how good each of these keywords are is because not all keywords are created equal. We saw this earlier with the amount of clicks that you have that each keyword gets. Certain ones get way more clicks, they get you way more attention, and we want to focus on keywords that really drive traffic to our book and make people want to go actually purchase our book. And we want to avoid keywords that aren't moving the needle and aren't making a difference for you in sales. And the question we really need to drive down to here is what makes for good keywords? And there are 3 steps that we can use to determine what makes for good keywords. The first one is we need words that shoppers really use. And what I mean by that is if you have a keyword that perfectly describes your book, but no one ever types it into Amazon, it's not going to help you out in your sales at all because no one's actually looking for it. So we need to make sure we have a keyword that people are actively typing in, because otherwise no one's actually going to use that keyword and no one will find your book. Second is we need keywords that shoppers actually use to buy. You don't want to use keywords that don't drive sales. So an example here is if your keyword is free fantasy book, well, that's not going to drive sales if your book actually costs money, because people aren't going to click on your book and buy it because they're looking for something for free. And you need to make sure that keyword actually applies to your book and it's going to drive those sales for your book as well. And then the third part, and probably most important, is we need words that aren't too competitive. And what we mean by this is Amazon will determine where you're going to put your book in the search results based on your keywords. And if you choose a keyword that's extremely competitive, something like science fiction, fantasy, weight loss, something that a ton of people want to actually appear for, you're probably going to show up on page 10 and you're not going to make a dent on Amazon. So it's really important, again, that for step 3, we choose a keyword that's not too competitive, because otherwise you'll be buried by huge best-selling authors as opposed to actually appearing near the top. And here's how we actually go through those steps and determine which keywords are good for you. So the way we can determine if someone's actually searching for a keyword or not on Amazon is we can type it into the search bar up top. And when we type it in, you'll see that Amazon starts auto-completing and starts giving recommendations for keywords that you may want to use. What that means is Amazon has seen thousands and thousands and thousands of people type in this keyword before, and they're recommending these keywords because they're actually seeing that they've had a lot of traffic in the past. So any one of these keywords that you see recommended here are ones that people actually search for time and time again, and you may want to consider them for your book. The second thing we need to look at is make sure people are actually buying with the keyword. And the way we do this is seeing how many sales a book makes on Amazon. So if you have your keyword, go type it in on Amazon, click on the book in position number 1, and then you want to look at that book's Amazon bestseller rank number. This is hidden below in the book description information, but this can tell you how many sales per day that book is making on Amazon. So you take that number here, which Amazon gives you, and you could put it in the Kindle bestselling calculator, which is available for free online. And that will tell you, for example, for 38,000 ABSR, that you're probably making 15, 20 sales a day with that book on Amazon. And then third, we need to make sure we find keywords that aren't too competitive. And these are some of the criteria that we use to determine how competitive a book is. So for example, we want to see if there's a famous author. If the cover's absolutely beautiful, it's going to be hard to compete there. If they have thousands of reviews, you're really not going to stand out next to it. If the book description's incredible and you actually want to buy it, that means it's competitive as well. And then also the age and if the keyword's in the title. And the last 3 points you want to look at are all determining the author's skill in marketing. So if the author has a blog or other online assets, you can tell they have a strong web presence. Or you can tell they have strong marketing skills, like they're writing really good zingers and things that are drawing attention to their book, or they're spending a lot of money on ads. That just adds to the competition. So you want to make sure that when you're choosing that keyword, don't do something that's too competitive because you will be buried beneath people that are really actively seeking to rank at #1 for that keyword. Now, what you would do with all your keywords here is you build a spreadsheet and you repeat this process over and over and over again until you find the right ones. And unfortunately, that's a bit of a pain to do. It takes a lot of time to go through, many hours searching on Amazon, trying to create this spreadsheet for words that people are searching for, they're buying for, and they have low competition. Or what you can do is you can use the easy button to get all this done in minutes rather than hours. And that easy button is Publisher Rocket. And with Publisher Rocket, there's a section here called Keyword Search. So Publisher Rocket is that tool that helps out with marketing. And you click on Keyword Search, and it'll give you all this information in one go. So for example, if you type in the keyword fantasy, Rocket's going to recommend all these different keywords that you can use that are related to the keyword that you typed in. You can then see how many people are searching for that keyword every month on Amazon. So for example, with fantasy, I can see that 87,000 people search for that keyword on Amazon this month. I can then see the earnings, or how much the top books are earning within that for that keyword search. So I can see for fantasy, the top 5 books are earning around $800,000 on Amazon. And last, I can see the competition score, or how difficult it is to actually rank or show up for that keyword. So Publisher Rocket gives you all these things that we talked about, where you can see how much people are searching for the book, how much they're buying the book, as well as that competition score, so you understand what keywords will work for your book in a quick way, as opposed to taking hours and hours of marketing time to do it. So now if we know how to find keywords using Publisher Rocket or manually on your own, let's look at some examples of good keywords versus bad keywords. And here's an example that really drives home the point of how difficult it can be to find keywords on your own that may be really advantageous for your book. So if you wrote a book about parenting, these are all keywords that you may want to use to describe your book on the Amazon store. And what we'll find out here is some of these are much more powerful than others, even though they sound very similar to me and you. And the reason why is that the Amazon algorithm thinks like a computer. It doesn't think like a person, and when it looks at many of these keywords, even though they're very similar, it reads them as completely different phrases and completely different things, and treats them very differently in their system. And a great example here is parenting teenage boys versus how to parent teen boys. If we look at these two keywords, you would expect them to perform about the same. You would look at them and say, it's really talking about the same thing, I should have the same results. But what we see is that it's completely different. If you type in parenting teenage boys, you get 240 searches per month of people typing that in. But if you type in how to parent teen boys, you only get less than 100 searches per month. What that translates into is that parenting teenage boys gets $337 per month just from that one keyword alone, whereas how to parent teen boys only gets 38. So there's a huge difference in those two keywords, even though they sound very similar to you and I, compared to how Amazon interprets them and what people actually type into Amazon. We also see that you can get advantages with niche keywords like parenting ADHD or parent ADHD down here. If you type in parent ADHD, you can see that you still earn around $300 per month, which is comparable to parenting teenage boys. But the competition score is far less at 28. So what that means is if you choose that for your keyword, you're much more likely to appear way higher in the ranks and get way more attention, and it's far easier for people to find your book and see you compared to if you chose something that's really competitive like parenting teenage boys. Now, unfortunately, it's hard to think of great niche keywords. It's really difficult when you finish your book to look and put yourself in the shoes of the shopper and think about what they're typing in. And most authors really get stuck at this step. They're trying to think of these keywords that describe their book well, but also are what people are searching for on the Amazon store. And it would be great if you could actually just take keywords that you know help popular books make sales and apply them to your own. So again, if we could find out what popular books are making on Amazon and what keywords that they're using and apply those to our own, we can help our book get attention like these popular books. And what Publisher Rocket has done is recently released a feature that makes that possible. And this is Publisher Rocket's Reverse ASIN Lookup, which lets you see what keywords popular books are actually ranking for. So what this does is it reveals the keywords a popular competitor book shows up for on Amazon so that you can use those keywords for your own book as well. The way that this works is that you take a book that you find on Amazon that you want to rank next to, and you put that into Publisher Rocket. And then what Rocket will do is it's actually going to show you all the keywords that book ranks for on Amazon. And you can see here, for example, beautiful coloring book adult is what this book is showing up for on Amazon, or a coloring book adult watercolor is another one would also be showing up for Amazon as well. And what we can do is we can see the searches per month, the competition, and the sales of these keywords. And we can go through these keywords and find the ones that have low competition that can also help our book out, and the ones that have high searches and high sales, because it makes it easy to find these keywords as opposed to being stuck trying to think of ones that may or may not work for a book.
Hank, I got a question for you. Can you define for
it.
people that might be new, what's an ASIN?
An ASIN is Amazon's code for a book. So if you look at an ASIN, that is Amazon's way of distinguishing this specific book. Kind of
So
like
it's
a
an
barcode.
identification. It's their thumbprint.
It's their thumbprint. It's their unique thumbprint for each
Good.
book.
Because I just wanted to make sure people understood what that was. Yeah.
Perfect. And when we look here again, Mitch, the benefit is that you put in the ASIN for a popular book, and you can go and see all the keywords that book's appearing for, and this just takes the difficulty out of it. I mean, if I can see what this popular book that's doing well on Amazon is using, then I'm going to want to potentially use those for mine as well if it matches, because now I don't have to think for hours about what keywords may or may not work on the Amazon store. It's all here, and it just makes it easy.
Simple. I would pick exactly what you circled. Yes.
Those are the ones, I mean, what I tell people is just look for green and green. If you see green and green, know you found a keyword that has a lot of searches, it's low competition, and it's going to help you drive more sales. Now, here's another example with The Anxious Generation, which is a very popular book right now. We can see a lot of the keywords that this book has used. Some of these don't work out well, and they look like they should. Like anxious teenager, you think would be good, but not a lot of people look for it. Anxious kids, you think it'd be good, same thing, not a lot of people look for it, or Generation Z jobs. But people instead search for my child is anxious or parenting an anxious teen. And all you have to do again is type in that book's thumbprint, and you can immediately see which ones are working for it and then use those for your own book. Just takes all the mysticism out of it and prevents you from getting stuck just trying to think of keywords that may or may not work. Now the benefit again is with Reverse ASIN Lookup, you won't be stuck trying to come up with these new keywords, and you're not going to have to guess if what you've typed into Amazon may or may not work. You know, looking at Rocket, that it's going to have an impact and it's going to drive more eyes over your book. The other benefit here as well is that if these are the keywords that people are typing in to see popular books, your book is going to start appearing next to popular books in search. And that adds credibility to you as well. Because if your book's appearing next to, for example, The Anxious Generation, which has sold incredibly well this year, that's going to tell people that it's related, it's similar, it's probably at that same level. So those are tangential benefits that you get from it as well.
Plus, if you run ads, you get two bites at the apple.
Oh, when you run ads, it's a complete game changer. Because like you said, you can show up multiple times, get you at the very top. There's a ton of benefit with running ads in conjunction with this. And we also see that this can potentially help your ads because you're helping Amazon understand what your book is about. I mean, when Amazon sees that tons of people are clicking on it for these keywords, well, it helps you with the ad selection and knowing what ads you actually want to pick. And it helps Amazon see that this is actually resonating with people. And they're going to go on and actually potentially purchase this book as opposed to like a wasted impression. Now, what we talked about you can do manually or you can do with Publisher Rocket. We showed you the 3 steps that you can do and actually find these keywords and use them. However, it's going to take you a lot of time. And when you go through and do it manually, you don't get as much information. So say, for example, you came up with all these keywords that you manually want to use for your book, and you're looking for the best one. Well, you're probably going to choose pandemic in this example because it earns $10,000 because you can just see what keyword people are typing in and how much it's earning. Well, this is a trap if you're doing this manually. This is a problem because you don't get all that information. And if we come over to Publisher Rocket and we look at the keyword pandemic, we can actually see that it's 100 on the competition score.
Wow.
So what that means, right, it's huge. What that means is if you use the word pandemic, you're probably showing up on page 100 of Amazon. And I don't know about you, Mitch, but I never click page 2. I never click page 3. Who's clicking page 100?
It's just like Google. It's just like
Google. It's just like Google. It's the exact same thing. So no one's going to go and search that deep. So if you're doing this manually, you don't know that, and that's a trap you really want to watch out for, because if you're using Pandemic, it's really not helping your book. Instead, you want to use all the information you get out of Publisher Rocket. You want to see the searches per month, their earnings, and the competition score. And your goal here is to find high searches per month, high earnings, and a low competition score, because those make the winning keywords that you want to use for your book and actually enter in those Amazon boxes to promote it and connect you with readers on Amazon.
Hank, I have a question right here. So you
Yeah.
want to have Publisher Rocket before you write your book, or decide on a name for your book, because you want it in the cover of your book, don't you? On the naming of your book.
That's an incredible point, Mitch. What we actually tell people is before you even think of the concept for your book, you should be typing it into Rocket. And the reason why is you don't want to write a book that there's no market for. If you spend 6 months of your life typing away and then you find out only 2 people search for your topic per month, that's soul-wrenching or heart-wrenching, because at that point, you're not making any sales. So you absolutely, before you spend all that time coming up with your book, all that time finding a title, all that time determining what your topic is, do the research ahead and find out if it's really worth it. Because otherwise, you might be publishing in a market that has almost no sales. I love that you mentioned titles, because you absolutely want to take advantage of titles with keywords. Just make sure it doesn't feel shoehorned. It needs to feel natural. It needs to feel like it actually belongs. But that's a huge advantage when you're putting books on the Amazon store. All right, so as a recap, there are 3 ways to get your keywords. First is you can guess. I really don't recommend this. And the reason I don't recommend this is you never know what's going to work or not. When we look at our parenting example, those keywords sounded the exact same, but one worked far better than the others. So you really don't want to guess again. You really want to make sure you do your research here. Second is you can manually do your research, and you will find good answers here. But instead of writing, you're going to spend 10, 15, 20 hours on Amazon per book just trying to do your research, and you still don't get the full picture. You might end up with a keyword like pandemic, which isn't going to help your book. It's really going to put you in a bad situation. And the third option is you can use Publisher Rocket. And the benefit again using Publisher Rocket is you quickly find out keywords that work well for your book. You can see basically what keywords your competitors are appearing for, so you can use those for your book as well. And then you know with certainty if that keyword's being searched, if it has low competition, and if it's actually making sales. So it takes away all that time you would have spent marketing. It takes away all that uncertainty and helps you get to those answers quick, which can help you move the needle. Now, at this point, I bet you're wondering how you can get your hands on Publisher Rocket. And Publisher Rocket's available for just $1.99 for a lifetime access. It's not a subscription. This is a one-time payment. And if you do that, you get Publisher Rocket for life. And within Publisher Rocket, you can find profitable keywords fast. You can see all the categories on Amazon, and that's a whole nother discussion, is how to optimize your categories. But Rocket gives you tons of insights about which ones are beneficial to your book or which ones actually hide your book from readers. You can develop effective Amazon ads. Like you mentioned, Mitch, Amazon ads are incredibly important for books on Amazon, understanding how to promote it ahead of your competitors, and you really have to find the right keywords to boost your book up. You can also see how much money other authors are making. I love doing this because I can see my competition and determine what niches I may want to get involved with in the future. And then you can also find emerging and hot book markets. And if you can get ahead of a trend and be one of the first books in a trend, it can really treat your sales incredibly well. And then finally, you get access to that new reverse ASIN feature. That is the easy button to find keywords that work well for your book, where you're not stuck trying to come up with them for hours and hours on end. Now, with Rocket for just $1.99 for that lifetime access, if Rocket helps you sell only 2 more books per month and you're an author for several years, it pays for itself. So you don't have to make a huge amount of new sales per month with Rocket to start earning your money back and making money off your investment. In addition, if you value your time at $20 an hour, if Rocket helps you save 10 hours of time in your entire author life, that also pays for itself as well. So you need to view Rocket as an investment, because this is something that will pay for itself over time, help you become more successful in the store, and let you focus on writing, which is likely why you became an author anyway. Not only that, but if you buy Rocket today through the special link, which Mitch is going to provide here as well, you get Dave's keyword and category course for free. Now, Dave is the founder of Kindlepreneur. A lot of the ideas that we talked about today come directly from them. And through this, he walks you through Publisher Rocket, shows you real-life examples, and really gives you all the pro-level course information on how to use Rocket the best possible way you can for your book. And within that course, you get tips to become more discoverable on Amazon. You get the step-by-step process for finding profitable categories and keywords. So remember, we didn't talk about categories today, but that's all in that course. It talks all about how to use categories and avoid categories which actually hurt your book in the store. It shows you how to use the best keywords and categories for more sales. And then also shows proven tactics to increase your rankings so you can reach that bestseller status. So again, if you order today through the special link that Mitch has provided, you get this for free, even though it's normally $49 for our regular customers. And not just that, but there's plenty more in that course. I highly encourage you to check it out because it's a pro level version of how to use Rocket and market your book on Amazon. Not only that, but if you order Rocket within this week, you get $30 off. So normally Rocket's $199. We're cutting it down for the summit to go down to $169 as part of this summit sale, but you do need to order within 1 week of this webinar. And make sure again that you use the special link below because that's the only way that you'll get this special deal of $30 off Rocket. Now with Rocket, it's also risk-free. And what I mean by that is we have a 30-day, no questions, money-back guarantee. If you try out Rocket and you don't like it, you can return it for any reason, as long as you do within those 30 days. So again, if it's something that you try out and you say, this isn't for me, and which is pretty rare that we hear about people not enjoying it, or if it's something that just you may not want to actually focus on that direction with your books, you want to do something else, we say just let us know in our support lines and we give it back for free, no questions asked. So that does make it risk-free and makes it beneficial for you as the author because you can try it out and decide whether or not you like it first. And as a recap, this offer is only available for a limited time, so you do need to order through that link at the bottom before 1 week after this webinar. And the benefits that you get are you get Publisher Rocket Unlimited Access. It's not a subscription, it's a one-time payment of $199, so you do get that within this offer. Second, you get that Keywords and Categories course absolutely free, which is normally $49 for our regular customers. You get unlimited updates and future new features. So if you're a Rocket customer, you know that we release features all the time. Every couple of months, we have a new feature that's coming up, a new benefit, a new update that we do send out, and you get that for free, downloaded automatically on your computer. So if anytime in the future we create something awesome within Rocket, if you buy now, you lock it in at that price, and you get that special feature in the future for free as well. In addition, we have world-class support. The people on our support lines are authors. They're people that understand the Amazon marketplace. So when you're writing in, these are people that understand your problems and how you want to actually sell more books, and they offer expert guidance on them. And then you also get access to lessons, resources, and tutorials about how to become a better author through Rocket and how to use Rocket itself. Now, again, this is only available for this week, and we have this normally at $248 for this entire value that we have up here, but just $169 if you do order this week as well. That's $79 in Summit savings. So thank you again, Mitch, for including us in this sale because you get this incredible offer for just $169 as opposed to $248, which is his normal price. So with that, just remember you do have to order before the end of the week through that special link. And we want to thank you all for joining us in today. Whether or not you have Rocket, you should be walking away with some incredible lessons on how to take advantage of the Amazon store to learn how you can better connect with readers and actually make more sales and find more readers to help you become a bestseller. So take these lessons through. These are quick things if you have Rocket you can apply tonight and help your books out to succeed. And with that, Mitch, thanks so much for having us today and happy to answer any questions.
Yeah, I've got a couple. This is a tremendous offer I've never seen because when I bought Publisher Rocket, I paid full money, full amount, and it's been worth it. So it doesn't even, to not take advantage of this $169 price, they have to be nuts, because if you're serious about this, or if you're starting on the book journey, makes a lot of sense to include the right keywords, the right way of understanding. So you map out your plan. You have a flight plan here. It's just that simple. Couple questions. You're American, I'm American. Many people on the call today are from around the world. My market, my client base is international. Does this only work for Amazon USA, or does it work in other markets?
Great question, Mitch. So we are opening Publisher Rocket is currently available in the USA. It's available in Amazon Germany, as well as Amazon UK. So those are 3 markets that it's currently available, and it does have translation as well into German. We're currently hard at work bringing it to more and more markets in the future. So just a couple months, and no one knows this yet, so don't share this outside, but we have at least 4 more markets that we're bringing Rocket to in just the next couple months. So we're actively expanding this and continuing to grow in that international capacity, as well as making it available in more and more languages.
That's fantastic. Okay, just want to clarify that. Hank, great presentation, great tool. I stand behind it. I'm a customer, bought it, use it. It saves time, saves money, and you can spend more time doing what you should be doing, which is whatever you want to do. And instead of maybe scratching at Netflix, take off and watch, learn this, spend the time to learn this tool, which will save you money and you can profit more. And with the keywords course, which was something I paid for after, this is fantastic. So $169 for a one-time investment, I'll say it's too cheap, but that's just a personal opinion because I know what other tools charge with renewable. It's a subscription. Yours is a one-time purchase. Fantastic. Thanks for being here today, Hank. And guys, take advantage of the link that's right available now so you can get on this rocket ship, your rocket ship of success, becoming an author, or if you're already in the existing author, how to improve what you're doing so you can create more sales, more awareness, more profits, and the recognition you deserve, because it's a lot of work to write a book. Why not do it correctly with a game plan, with a flight plan? Hank, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mitch. We're so excited to be here today.
Thanks for tuning in to the Amazing Authorities Podcast. If today's episode inspired you, take a moment to subscribe, rate, and leave a review. It helps more experts like you rise to the top. For behind-the-scenes access and free resources to boost your authority, head to mitchcarson.com. Until next time, stay amazing.